Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in our last video, we talked about a different type of white blood cells, which we talked about was phagocytes. We talked about phagocytosis. So in this video, we'll talk about B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. We'll talk about their function and what they do during an immune response, and how do they get activated, how they made, and we'll talk all about lymphocytes today. So let's start. So let's begin with B lymphocytes. So we know B lymphocytes, they're produced in the bone marrow. So they remain in the bone marrow until they mature, and then they will spread throughout the body, and then they will concentrate in the lymph node and spleen. So what happens when they mature is that they will, all B lymphocytes, they all have an ability to make a particular type of antibody. So the genes that code for antibodies, they are altered in a variety of ways to produce numerous genes. So one type of lymphocyte will have a specific gene that codes for a single type of antibody. So what happens during the maturation stage is that they will produce these antibodies, but they do not secrete them yet. What happens is that they will first divide by mitosis to create clones. So they're identical cells, that's why they're called clones. So when a B cell divides, they form identical B cells. So all of them produce a similar type of antibody or the same type of antibody. What happens next is that after they produce these antibodies, what happens is that they don't secrete it, but they will remain on the cell surface membrane, and then they act as glycoprotein receptors, which can bind with an antigen, causing the B cell to be activated. And when it gets activated, it becomes into a plasma cell or a memory cell. So we'll talk about that in the next slide. So during an immune response, what happens is the B cell will encounter an antigen within the body. So as a pathogen will travel along the body, it may encounter a white blood cell or a B cell. Then lymphocytes, which have that complementary antibody receptor, can bind to that antigen. So the antibody receptor will bind, causing the B cell to become activated. So the B cell will further divide. So they'll produce multiple cells or multiple clones. This is known as clonal selection because you're selecting a particular type of B cell which has that antibody that you want to form clones. So this is clonal selection. And when the B cell divides to form a large number of clones, and the division is by mitosis, they'll produce all identical B cells, which can produce the same type of antibody. This is known as clonal expansion. So clonal selection is when you're choosing a particular B cell out of the many white blood cells that you have, and clonal expansion is when that one B cell divides to form multiple clones of itself. So activated B cells, they can become plasma cells, and plasma cells are what can produce and secrete antibodies. So when they secrete these antibodies, they have a multitude of functions against the thing. We'll talk about their mode of action of antibodies itself. But what happens is that the antibodies eventually lead to the destruction of the pathogen. So plasma cells, they're not very long living. So they secrete the antibodies and eventually they will die. And then the antibody concentration as their protein molecules, they will also eventually decrease. But there's also long living cells, which are memory cells. And memory cells are important when we talk about immunological memory. So immunological memory is important for our own health. So what happens if that pathogen re-enters our body? So the memory cells have to somewhat keep this information circulating within the body because they last in the body for a long period of time. So the antigen comes again, the memory cells, they can bind, and there's already a large number of memory cells produced after this one interaction with the antigen. So they're already present. So they will divide rapidly to produce more plasma cells, and these memory cells, they can also produce memory cells. So when these new memory cells are passed, the immunological memory is maintained within the body. So the body is somewhat immune to a particular type of antigen or pathogen. So this is the primary and secondary response. We'll also talk about that. So T lymphocyte, they are made in the bone marrow and they will divide by mitosis, and they will collect in the thymus, and within the thymus they mature over there. So similarly, they will produce the T cell receptors, and then these T cell receptors will eventually become cell surface membrane receptors. They will be attached to the cell surface membrane. And each type of T cell, they only have a protein receptor which can bind to a particular antigen. So even T cells have specificity just like B cells. And the special thing about T cells is that we can form helper and killer T cells, which both have two different functions. So if you look at the diagram, so this is your cell which is dividing in the bone marrow, and then they will mature to produce these T cell receptors, which eventually become cell surface membrane receptors. And then this will divide by mitosis to produce clones of itself. So these mature T cells, they will have, if it's one type, it will produce clones. But it's speaking about in general, each within the T cells, there's multiple T cells which have different receptors which can bind to different antigens, similarly to the B cells. So T cells get activated in a different way. So we know that macrophages, they have this special function, unlike neutrophils, they can cut out the pathogen, but they don't kill it completely. So macrophages, they display antigens on their or pathogens on their cell surface molecules on their cell surface membrane. So when the T cells either encounter these complementary antigen through this process known as antigen presentation. So body cells which have been invaded, they also display the antigen on the cell surface membrane as a form of a help signal. So when it detects this complementary antigen, they get activated, and when they get activated, only a particular subset of all T cells get activated. So this is first step is clonal selection happens. So T cells undergo clonal selection, and then the only T cells with the complementary receptors, they undergo mitosis, which is known as clonal expansion. So the T cells which you want, they will undergo mitosis to produce a large number of T cells, and then you'll have many T cells, and T cells will these T cells can be both helper and killer T cells. So the main function of helper T cells is that they will obviously produce more helper T cells, and they also produce memory cells. Same for killer T cells; they produce more killer T cells and memory cells. So memory cells contribute to immunological memory, while helper and killer have their own functions. We'll just talk about that now. So activated helper T cells, what they do is they can release hormones, and these hormones, for example, are cytokines. They stimulate appropriate B cells to divide and produce plasma cells, and they secrete antibodies. So these antibodies which are being secreted are complementary to the antigen. They also secrete cytokines, and cytokines stimulates macrophages to carry out phagocytosis more vigorously. They also stimulate T cells to differentiate and produce more T cells or killer T cells with vacuoles with toxins. They also divide into memory cells, as we just said. So there is a faster subsequent immune response. Killer T cells, they travel within the body, they search for these cells which are being invaded, and then what happens is that they will recognize the antigen, they will attach themselves to the infected cell, and then they will secrete cytotoxic substances. So cytotoxic substance is, for example, H2O2, hydrogen peroxide, and hydrogen peroxide is toxic to the cell. So that's what cytotoxic means. And when they secrete these cytotoxic substances, it causes the cell to die. So what they first do is that they punch holes in the cell surface membrane, so the vacuoles with toxins can fuse and enter the cell, and then they'll eventually kill a pathogen. They also divide to form memory cells. So forming memory cells is important for immunological memory, as I've been doing. So this is the entire mechanism of how helper and killer T cells work. So first of all, there'll be an infected body cell. For example, they will travel within the body, and they'll have antigens displayed. So the killer T cells and helper T cells, they can bind to these antigens to become activated. They will divide by mitosis. So first clonal selection will happen because only those which are complementary to the antigen will be activated. Then clonal expansion will occur because now there's more specific memory cells and more helper and T cells, killer T cells being formed. And what happens is that helper T cells, like I just said, they will secrete cytokines, and cytokines stimulate B cells to divide and form plasma cells and memory cells. They can also stimulate macrophages to conduct phagocytosis more vigorously. And over here, look at here. So killer T cells, what happens is they will first bind to the infected body cell with the antigens displayed. So They create a hole in the cell surface membrane, vacuoles with the cytotoxic substance infused with it, and then cytotoxic substances enter the infected body cell, either killing the entire body cell and also the pathogen along with it. So this is everything about lymphocytes. We'll continue with antibodies and their function in the next video. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you found this video helpful, do consider leaving a like and consider subscribing. Do share these videos with your friends, and if you find them helpful, if you have any questions, you could leave them in the comment section. I'll do my best to get back to you. And